Okay, so moving on with the rationalizing denominators. Today we're looking at rationalizing denominators with conjugates. Okay, now here's kind of the big thing that you see. We actually, when a denominator is a binomial, okay, that binomial, that's two different terms. There's usually add or subtract in here. Okay, like this is 2 minus 3i. All right, what we're going to do, and I want to make this bigger, is we have to multiply by, now it's, instead of being 2 minus 3i, it's 2 plus 3i. We only change the sign in the middle. That's it. Nothing else. All right. So I kind of set up our notes today, and I think I did this with one of my other classes before. All right. So when we multiply, we just distribute here. So this is 2i plus 3i squared. Okay, so we know this is we know that, this ends up being 2i plus 3 times -1. So this is 2i minus 3. We're just going to leave that alone right now. Now, you need to work smarter, not harder. Okay, this is a difference of two squares. Basically, it's going to be whatever this first term is, 2 squared, minus the second term squared. That's the way it's going to work out. You don't have to do FOIL or double distributive or table method. That's it right there. All right, so now we have 4, because 2 squared is 4, minus 9i squared. Okay, and 9i squared, we know this is going to be 9 times -1. All right, so when I rewrite this, my -3 is going to come first. And I want to clean this up just a little bit. So 9 minus -9. So plus plus. All right. Needed another one, but here we go. 2i over 13. Okay, and that's it. Now, not really worried so much about the multiplication because we've done that. This should be extra practice. The big takeaway here is the conjugate. Okay, and you're going to see this as we go along through the lesson. All right, wow. Yeah. So this one, we look right here. We know it's going to be 6 and 6. It's going to be 8i and 8i. Now, if this is a plus, this has to become a minus. Okay. So if we were setting this up, times, say 6 minus 8i, 6 minus 8i. All right. When we multiply, I'm going to change colors here. Okay, so that's going to be 5i, 6 minus 8i. And then now remember the trick I told you a while ago. It's going to be this term squared minus this term squared. Okay. Now I don't really want to go through all that. If you do need help with that, let me know. Okay. But mainly what's going to be the conjugate. Okay. And then you go from there. Basically, it's like a hybrid lesson from the day before with the simple, multiplying by I over I, Captain Insano. He shows no mercy. And then this one is now using a conjugate. So instead of boring you by showing you how to multiply and stuff like that, I'm just going to kind of move on because you should be able to multiply this. And if you have some trouble, let me know. We can work on that. Okay. So this one, our conjugate, well, we know we're going to have a 10 and a 10 because we have a 10 here. We know we're going to have a 5i and a 5i. All right. And so it's the opposite of this. So it's going to be this. All right, so when you set it up, I'm focusing, I'm sticking my tongue out a little bit, I don't know why that is. It's not turning down the radio so I can see better. All right, so, all right, and then on the bottom, 10 squared minus 5i squared. And sometimes it cleans up really well. Like this one, I can actually do pretty quick because it's these, really easy numbers with 10s and 5s. So it's going to be like, 100 minus 50i over 100 minus, now this is going to be 25i squared. But remember that 25i squared, well, come down here. So 100 minus 50i minus 25 times -1. Okay. So yeah, we would get a weird fraction like this because, up top it multiplied easy. And I'm doing this one because it seems easy. Yes, I'm lazy. All right. So 100 plus 25. Now, you can reduce this down because this is 125. You can reduce it down some more. I know we can take a 5 out of everything. So if we did that, well, if I took a 5 out of 100, I'm left with 20. And then I can take a 5 out of here, leaving me with I, and then 125 divided by 5 gives me 25. And believe it or not, this would be the answer. We can't take this any lower because there's not a common, this is a 1. So, again, the big thing's the conjugate. All right. Now this one, let's look here. Our bottom, just got to look at the bottom. So, excuse me. So it's -8, -8, and we got a 7i and a 7i. Instead of being a -7, this will be a plus. All right. Now, this one is a little bit more time intensive because you would have to do double distributive or table method on top. And I've had tons of students, they will take their time, and I kind of showed them, I'm like, hey, try to do it this way. And they're like, wow, it's so much easier. I'm like, yes, I know, I'm amazing. So we know on the bottom, let's just focus on the bottom. Minus 7i squared. Okay. So when we do this, we know we're going to have 64. Make sure your negative's in the parentheses. Minus 49i squared. Okay. And clean it up one more time. It's going to be 64 because this is 49 times -1 minus negative. So 64 minus -49, or adding it is like, yeah, I should have done this. All right. Now, with this, you're going to have to do like double distributive or whatever. And let's see, that would be a +8 and a -7i. That'd be a -40i and a +35i squared. 8 minus 47i plus 35i squared. Now, remember the I squared, this is going to change up to -35. So, again, I'm not going to finish it out, just going to try to help you a little bit. But on these, I would definitely do the bottom first. Okay. Now, for the rest of these, we're just going to find the conjugates. All right. So this is still going to be -2, -2, and 7i and 7i. And it's a minus right here. So that's what you would multiply by. Okay. I can set it up, but you should know how to do it. Okay. Again, if you have questions, let me know. All right. For this one, I have a 2 and a 5i. 2, 5i. I want to cough. I don't have corona, it's allergies. Okay. And that's our conjugate. So I think on the homework, I have like 3 or 4 problems. I ask you what the conjugate is, and then I ask you what the simplified version is using the conjugate. So if you kind of work out the problem on that process, it will kind of help you, work smarter, not harder. And then this one, -5, I'm just going to go ahead and write it. All right, and multiply it through. Now, I'm not trying to kill you with this lesson. This is kind of time intensive, and it's not difficult. It's just time intensive. Okay. Uh, I know a lot of students like to say, "Well, this is so difficult." Well, if it takes you longer, it takes you longer. Okay. Some of y'all played the daggum Flappy Bird to get on the level bajillion, and that took time too. But all right. So that's all. Have a good day. Roll time.